Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. RJ Horner here, along with
Curtis Leong.
and we are your beacon of leadership. So we're back with another episode of our podcast on Beacon of Leadership.
Yeah. No video today, RJ?
Sorry?
You have no video today.
Gentlemen. So what were you saying?
I said your video's not on.
My video is not on?
No, it's just your
Then let's
picture.
make sure. Thank you for the reminder. This is a live broadcast, so we want to show people out there my pretty mug,
Yep.
But yeah, thank you. We're back again with another episode on Beacon of Leadership, the podcast. I have a feeling, Curtis, and somewhere down the future, we're going to do more than one podcast. So will it stay with the name of Beacon of Leadership? I don't know. But Beacon of Leadership is our platform. And that's where we're working from. I look at your background and I keep reminded that we're going to do something with that is Leaders Lighthouse. I think that's going to be like our, we talked about this. It was going to be our classroom, our place to teach from. So that's one of the things we're working on is Leaders Lighthouse. So there are going to be different segments within the Beacon of Leadership podcast community.
Yep, for sure. Cool.
So today, our discussion, I remember a time when my wife wanted to go on, she didn't want to go on, we were talking about vacation.
Yep.
And so how does it happen that you get on vacation, that you go somewhere or you do anything in life? Because that's our topic today is where does anything great begin? What is the starting point? Where's the spark that gets it all lit?
It's always the thought.
The thought. That's right. And so that's why I wanted to have this discussion today, because anytime we create anything, anytime, we look at a finished product. We look at this tab. You can't see on my screen, but we look at a tablet. We look at a piece of paper. We look at a notebook. We look at a table. We look at a tower.
Yep.
All of these things were created like that in a moment of time where somebody had a spark of an idea.
That's right.
And so that's why I wanted to discuss this. I remember, like I was saying, is that my wife and I went on a vacation. We took a vacation to PEI, a driving vacation, New Brunswick and PEI.
Right on.
But that all it started with one comment, which was a thought upon my wife's mind. Why don't we go for a cruise on the Lake Ontario? Those island cruises that we have down in Kingston and Belleville and
they do like Thousand Island thing or something like that, right?
And so Belleville is 3.5 hours away for us, and that's where my wife,
if you drive the speed limit, yes,
approximately, but that's where we decided we were going to go for, she wanted to go on a cruise.
Right now, cool.
And
it's
I
nice
thought,
and local,
and then but then we expanded on that, right? Because again, she had the thought, she had the initial idea, but then you expand on that and it becomes something more, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I said, look, we've always been talking about a vacation out east. We've been talking about CMPEI and the Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people that we wanted to see the Bay of Fundy and the walk on the ocean floor.
Yeah, cool.
So we'd been talking about these, right? But they were really just dreams. Right? Because we all have dreams, we all have wishes, we all have desires that we want to come true.
Absolutely.
Curtis, did you have any desires out there that you wanted to come true? That so let's start with that. Did you have any desires? I'm sure you've had a few in your lifetime.
Usually, if I think of something, I end up doing it. So that's how I am.
Is that always the case? You always follow up?
Yep, 90% of the time. It's if I want to go do some activity of some sort, I'll go do it. Or I want to learn how to bungee jump, so I'm with bungee jumping. I want to do whitewater rafting, I did it. Some other things like personal level stuff, like relationship wise, sometimes I find that a bit more difficult for me. Like was it probably when I first started looking for a wife, I found it really hard in the beginning to pick a lady I liked, I guess you could say. So what I did, I wrote down all the qualities I was looking for. Because I was like, I didn't want to be random person, you never know what you're gonna get. So I wrote down probably 10 or 15 qualities, right? So then I went with that, and then I would just ask, I'd ask these girls different questions and stuff like that, right? And most of them failed, unfortunately. And then I met this one, and then my current wife, she answered all the questions correctly. And the odd thing is, though, that list I had disappeared.
She passed her quiz, did she?
I know she passed the quizzes and all the qualities, but the funny thing is, though, that list I had, it disappeared.
You didn't need it. It was up here at that point, right?
Well,
you needed it
all the
initially.
the reality was there, so I guess I didn't need to read it anymore or something. It
Quite
was
possibly.
strange.
But let's
Very
talk
strange.
through that then. Let's talk through that then. So you started out by you were looking for a wife, a partner, somebody to get along and live this life with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So can we call that the original thought?
Yep.
Right? That's the original thought. I need somebody. I need a wife. I need a partner. I need somebody to belong with me.
Mhm.
So what do you do about that? Well, you started your imagination flowing. You wrote down the qualities you were looking for. So you wrote down your ideal prospect.
Yep.
And then you went out and pursued it, right?
Yep.
You started looking for these. You went on dates. You started getting to know these people. You
I
started
did
spending
speed
time.
dating. I would
started-
regular dating, internet, online dating stuff. Yeah, all
So
sorts of
let's-
different things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And congratulations. I love watching you and your happy family. You were definitely successful in fulfilling your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks. So then we look a little further. Let's imagine that somebody has an idea out there, a concept of something they want to create. I don't know what that will be because it's different for everybody, right?
Yep.
We have a dream, but we don't take action on those dreams because we don't know how, we don't know where to begin.
Mm-hmm.
There's where I say, look, so we have a thought, we have that spark, we have an idea. Start like you did with your list, right? Start with the idea that this is what I want. Write that down on a piece of paper.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can't see it, but I'm carrying a notebook.
Yeah.
Right?
The background.
Start writing down what it is that goes along, like you did with your list, right?
Yeah.
Every time you have a thought that's related to this idea, this concept, you write it down. And usually in the same notebook or the same area, so that now you've got your thoughts compounded.
Yeah.
And then keep looking at that list. Keep going back and looking at it and analyzing it. In other words, keep it fresh in your mind. But then by looking at it again, you'll have another thought and another thought until such time as you're going, okay, I got that, I can do that. Well, if I talk to this person, I can get that to happen.
Yeah.
So eventually you've got the outline of a plan starting to form, right? Because to go anywhere, we have to have three things. We have to have a plan, an idea.
Yep.
Right? So that's the concept.
Right.
Then we have to have a map. We have to have the plan written out somewhere. Right? We follow this journey. It's going to take us here. Well, maybe if we turn off here, we can go here. We can get there a lot faster. So you have to have the map, the plan. Yep. And then you need a compass. You need something to keep your guidance always moving in that direction.
That's right.
Right? And that's your thought, your plan, your actual idea. By focusing that this is what I'm working on, you can constantly take the steps towards creating your idea.
Yep.
Now, I know there's a lot more to it.
You can add different relates like an airplane. I think every minute, if you go off a degree within the hour or 1 minute, you could be off 60 miles out. Should be consistently readjusting, right? Your destination.
They said imagine. So you want to go straight. You want to stay direct on that path, right? So imagine you go off by a half a degree. And you stay that half a degree off.
Yeah.
Eventually, you will come back 360 degrees. Yeah. But imagine where you've went in that, half a degree that you keep going around in a circle. It's going to take you a long time.
You're going around in circles in your life. So.
Right. But it'll also take you a long time to get back to ground zero, to square one again, right?
Yep. That's why coaching is good.
Absolutely, for sure. I'm glad you brought that up because that's why we do all this, right?
Yep.
We're coaches, helping coaches. We're helping thought leaders out there to put their business together. We're helping build authorities. We're helping build your brand, your business.
Yep.
We're helping you out there become the authority or the thought leader you were meant to be. And who are our thought leaders, Curtis?
Emmett.
Well, those are our coaches. But who are the thought leaders out there?
Like Tony Robbins, Dean Grazioso, those type people.
Certainly they are. I wasn't asking you to mention names. What I was suggesting is, who do we serve? Do you remember?
Remember
Coaches, the acronym?
Coaches, authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And we have an acronym for that called CASE. In other words, we provide case studies, studies from coaches, authors, speakers, entrepreneurs. That's who we're trying to serve. Look, it's taken you and I a long time to find our position in this industry.
Yeah.
Right? We've gone through coaching, training, all kinds of opportunities to place us here. Like I said, for me, it's been 10 years but 10 years ago, I didn't decide that this is what I was going to do. It's only been the last 3 years that I've decided I need to be a coach. This is where my industry needs to be. I need to transition from the job I'm doing now into coaching full time.
Yeah.
So here's my dilemma. Will I ever reach that? I don't know.
Yep.
Because I make $80,000 Canadian a year doing my job.
It's definite purpose. You got to figure that out.
Well, that's a lot of money. Right? People don't make that kind of money in your average job, or you know what I mean, in many jobs out there. That's really part of the elite, right?
Yep.
It's a higher scale of income. So this is why I tell people that I've been trapped in a high-end job. In other words, there are people who would kill to make my kind of money doing what I do.
That's right.
As a professional bus driver for a big industry, big transit name, they pay well.
Absolutely.
So I can't, first of all, people would die to have my job.
Yes, that's right.
But I don't want to be doing that job anymore. Not because I didn't love it, but just because it's done heck on my body, right?
Yeah, but with coaching,
so I can't perform my duties anymore. But at the same time, a long time ago, the all of the stuff that goes along with driving, the frustration of being a driver 24/7, the frustration of dealing with passengers, belligerent passengers. Sometimes even just trying to serve the passengers could be difficult. So there's why I wanted out of my industry. I've been trying to find another living. And that's when I discovered that coaching was probably going to be the industry for me. First of all, because it's probably the only other industry out there that can go out and match or even hopefully even succeed.
I'm pretty sure you'll probably succeed for sure, RJ.
Well, that's the idea, right? Yeah. So, and it's been a long time. And like we mentioned, you and I are not earning the income as of yet that we would like to be earning.
But we'll get there. We'll keep at it. We'll get there.
And that's the key. That's
resilience
the key.
And persistence.
So we've had this thought, we've had this concept, and we built upon this concept, right?
Yeah.
So now we are in a position. We are doing the work. We're starting to get paid, but we are doing the work.
Yep. We get there.
And so that's really what it is start somewhere. Absolutely. Start with that original thought and build upon it.
That's right. Did you know there's a book called Thoughts Are Things by Prentice Mulford?
I've heard of that. I also, and maybe I'll put it out there. I think I talked about this
on
before.
YouTube. So I was like, it's our topic today.
So what did you just say? What did you...
Thoughts Are Things. Thoughts
so
are
Google,
things.
Google, if you could, thoughts become things, and see what names come out.
It's just funny how you can change one word and then it changes everything.
Because I have a feeling there's going to be a name come forward near the top when you Google thoughts become things.
Yep.
I interviewed somebody who that was their premise. Somebody people out there may know very well. I was lucky enough to have a prestigious interview with somebody who, so have you come up with some names yet?
Thoughts become things. There's no names. There's a couple books. There's like a movie.
What's the movie?
How Thoughts Become Things.
Yep.
Joe Vitale, John and Bob Proctor.
Who's the producer?
Directed by Douglas Vermeer Stars.
That's right. Douglas Vermeer is a star of The Secret. He's one of the teachers in The Secret.
Right on.
He's also a personal friend of Bob Proctor. He's learned from Bob Proctor for years. I was lucky enough to interview Douglas Vermeeren when How Thoughts Become Things was done.
Oh, how'd you do that?
That was about 3 years ago. So 2 to 3 years ago now. In fact,
cool.
no, yeah, I was living in this house, so it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just so because I've been doing podcasting and I've been trying to do interviews for a long time, I'm connected with these agencies.
Right.
And then one day this agency reached out to me and said, would you like to interview Douglas Vermeeren? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what do I have to do to set this up? And I kept telling them, look, mine is not a big platform, right? I don't want him to think he's going to have tremendous exposure by coming on to be interviewed by me.
Yeah.
They said, Doug doesn't believe in that. He believes in just show up, you do this. You know what I mean? This is what what comes forward. You're supposed to pursue it. That's how thoughts become things.
Oh, wow.
So because we made that connection, they set up the interview. He kept the interview. Again, I'm a nobody, right? I'm just a piddly follower. And I got to interview Douglas Vermeeren on How Thoughts Become Things. It was a great interview. It's about 75 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But maybe I will post that out again. Yeah.
Yeah. Put it on our podcast channel.
I will post it on our podcast channel. I will also see about posting it on our website, because that might be a beneficial thing that might draw some attention to our website and get people to come to us.
Beaconofleadership.com. That's right.
Thank you for that. That's where you can find us, beaconofleadership.com. And so we've talked about where it all starts. It all starts with one thought.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have anything else to add? Like, is there something we're missing in the process, do you think? Like I said, so again, you have that original thought, right?
Yeah.
Then you continue to think about that thought.
Well, then you add visualization too, right? Like
document it. So yeah, but that's what I mean. Think about that thought. Keep the information fresh in your mind, right? When you wanted a wife, when you wanted a spouse or a partner, I'm sure that information was always circulating in your mind. You were always on the lookout for.
Yeah, because I read it every morning,
so it would pop up.
Yeah, it would pop up. Certain words would come up during the day, and then when you're on a date or something, you start thinking, okay, this person had this, and you ask the questions, and it becomes part of your subconscious, right? The auto suggestion, like Think and Grow Rich, right? Napoleon Hill stuff. So yeah, it just became subconsciously in there, and then the moment comes when you just know that all the questions you have inside have been answered, and you just have that knowingness of where you are, right?
So when you wrote that list, did you refer to it often?
Every morning I read it.
Yeah. See, so you knew the quality. So eventually you didn't, like you said, we didn't need the list, right? Because it was all, again, you've been building upon this day after
in my
day
mind,
after day
right?
after
It's
day,
inside my mind.
right?
So
exactly. So that's all you think about, right? So, and what you think about, you bring about, right? Isn't that what Tony Robbins says? What you think about, you bring about. And that's what it means. So constantly focus on this one thing. Look, I've doubted myself, right? I've said I would like to be the next Bob Proctor, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy. I want to be that name, right? I want to carry on that message.
Have you read any of their autobiographies?
I have. I've read Zig Ziglar. I've read other people like Benjamin Franklin, Dale Carnegie. So I've read a lot of autobiographies. Absolutely. So I've wanted to be these people, right? I wanted to step into those shoes, but those are some pretty big names.
Absolutely.
Right.
But they didn't start off that big, remember, right? They started somewhat small.
Thank you. Because again, I've doubted, right? Who am I to want to be one of these people? These are the prestigious elite that we look up to.
Well,
these are the names that we hear them and we go, wow, Zig Ziglar's coming to town. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I seen the big concert. Like I seen Tony Robbins. I actually didn't enjoy it. He didn't impress me much.
No.
So I went downtown to a big conference one year because Tony Robbins was the lead star, right? They banked it around
headliner,
him. Yeah. So that's how I started podcasting, in fact, was because at that seminar, there was a bunch of breakout rooms. And one of them was a podcast called Every Day is Saturday. And I can't remember the guy's name. But I saw him, and he convinced me at that point that I should be podcasting. So I said about that. So that's how that interview with Doug Vermeeren came about, right? Because
Cool.
I had a thought, I followed it through, and I started somewhere.
That's pretty cool.
And so that's exactly like you said. Bob Proctor was a fireman once upon a time. He was a
That's
public
right.
servant, much like me, right? And he says, you know what, I wasn't the greatest employee, da 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 da.
Right.
But that's why he knew he needed something else, right? And then he discovered the book Think and Grow Rich, and eventually he started following its principles, and it led him to become Proctor that
Well,
we all know and love.
I believe he did every day. Does he not have that book by his side all the time? He reads it every day like a Bible almost.
Yep. Oh, and you caught me. Thank you. Mine's right here.
Cool.
And it's gold. There, you can probably see the gold bindings.
Yeah.
So yeah, Think and Grow Rich. And that's how I'm going to use the book, as much the way Bob Proctor did. He used it as a reference guide. So he would open up to a specific page and read that page because he felt that that was the passage that was going to apply to his life
For the
today,
day,
or for his query, or for his question.
Mm-hmm.
So he expanded on his thoughts, right? That's exactly what it's all about, expanding on your thoughts. So again, I want to be one of these names.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
I'm 49.
Yep.
But by the time I'm 60, do you think it's possible to get from where I am now at 49 to have my name up, you know what I mean? That people remember RJ Horner.
Look at KFC. He was like 70, wasn't he, when he got his recipe out there?
Right. So we can all be famous at any time, right?
But did you also know that from the age of 30 to 60, men in general are in their like prime way become genius levels?
Really, I believe that.
Yep.
I believe that. And I'm not 30. Genius.
No, but you have your genius level. Each of us have our own genius level within.
Yes, genius, right? Genius as in talents and skills.
Yeah, they just bloom at that.
Have you ever had your IQ tested?
Probably, yeah. Like 100 and something, yeah.
Yeah, I've had mine tested. It's 126. So I'm pretty impressed with that. It's not genius level, but it's pretty close. So nice. I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm pretty happy with that. That tells me I can figure out most things and do most things. I'm not a handy guy.
You're not 200 or anything.
Exactly. So there's
you got all your fingers, so you're doing good.
There's room to grow. But what I'm saying is these don't work so well. This works perfectly. You know what I mean? I'm an intelligent guy. I can work with my intelligence. Can't work with my hands so much. So, but we all have our talents. We all have our innate skills, right?
Right.
So we start with an idea. We start documenting the process or visualizing it, like you said, and then compound it on that until it becomes, like you say, subconscious, or just like Doug Vermeeren said,
knowingness.
It just becomes part of what we do. We show up, we do this, it's who we are.
Yeah, it's part of your knowingness, right? That's the whole idea I get from it.
Absolutely. And I don't want to promote him or have people idolize this guy, but Donald Trump, think about how many towers he's built, how many buildings he's created. And it all started because he has an idea. He has a concept. Right. And he builds upon that concept. Maybe not the greatest person in the world. We certainly, I don't want you to go looking up to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's how you become that caliber of person, right? You can't run for president if you're a nobody.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, before he was president, he was like the top real estate guy, right? So
right. He built how many real estates, went bankrupt, and did it again.
Yep. A couple times, yeah.
Right.
He had skills. He had a skill set to make it happen again, right?
And he's proof that, you know what, if you fall, you can get up again.
Yep.
Right. And you will fall on this journey, no matter what you're trying to build, what you're trying to create. Look, on this journey to be a thought leader, I've faltered many a times. I've questioned myself. I've doubted myself, whether I should keep going forward, whether I should continue on this path. I've doubted myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is my primary thought.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is going to be what I do. So I keep moving forward towards that dream. I mean, you must be in the same boat, right? Because you're trying to do the same things I am. You're setting yourself up as a coach, as an authority in positivity and growth.
Yes.
So you must be on the same path as me, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I do my 5 a.m. club stuff, so that helps me a lot too. I stay in pretty good shape. So stress level does come up here and there, but I can always burn off at the gym, I find. So if I have a
Right.
bad day or something's bothering me, I just go to the gym and figure it out, right? That's how
And then so,
I've done that for since I was 13 years old. I've been doing that.
oh
So
wow, I wish
yeah,
I had that that dedication to something,
yep,
anything.
yeah, yeah. Well, I had
Um,
martial arts training too, right? So that's how I
that's
started.
awesome
Yep,
because I mean you must be in peak physical health. We've talked about this
decent.
before, you and I. That's the one area that I need a little
One more push
a
to
little
get her
more push.
done.
That's a good word for it because motivation, I've got the motivation. I'm just not doing it. I've got
Yep,
the inspiration. I have an
yeah,
unhealthy body that needs to heal.
yeah,
So that push, that drive, I need
yeah,
something there to make me do it
for sure.
for sure. So,
Let's
um,
do a challenge.
oh, we've been there before. You broke
Yep,
my shoulder.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
broke my
I didn't
shoulder. I still
break
can't.
it.
I
It's
can't do
just
push-ups anymore because of that push-up challenge. But I pushed myself that first day. I did.
yeah,
I
yeah,
probably should have taken it slow and built up
yeah.
to
It's
it.
built up to get into it.
But yeah, I tried that challenge that one day and popped my shoulder.
Was
So
it the
it was
500
months
push-ups a
before.
day? I
Sorry.
think 500 push-ups in a day, right?
No, I was only trying to do 100 at that
Oh
day.
no, no. I was trying. I was
Yeah,
hitting
you were
500.
starting.
Yeah,
You were starting to increase to about 500, and you
yeah,
did get to 500, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because of a personal desire to do so.
yeah.
I couldn't even get to 100.
Oh
That
wow.
first day that I started, I think it was about the seventh time I did 10 push-ups,
Oh yeah.
and I think I was doing it, and all of a sudden, and I just fell to the ground.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so
That's pretty
um,
serious.
yeah, dude, I haven't been able to use it for months, so it's just
Oh
starting
wow.
to get back to
Did
a
you
place
pop
where
her?
I can rotate it without it popping, and
Okay.
I can move it around a little more. So
Did you see the doctor about it or anything? Or
I'm always seeing a doctor for my physical ailments. My
yep.
shoulder is out of place,
Okay.
so
So
I do
push-ups
need
probably
I
help.
do
Yeah.
need there's no doubt I need a health regimen in my life. But that was
Absolutely.
not discussion for today's
Oh well, hey.
podcast.
It's
But that's where it goes, right? We have
Yep.
discussions. So
Yep. That's
um
okay.
so today's episode we're talking about how thoughts become things, how things are created, how anything of substance is created.
See, even that discussion about the push-up thing is a thought to become a thing, right? Because you
Without a
want to
doubt,
improve
like
your health, and you think
you
by doing
mentioned the word
push-ups will help.
challenge, right?
Yep.
And that's what one thing to get it all started.
Yep.
Right? Not only are you having the original thought, like somebody plants that thought in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a challenge on, we're going to get you to 500 push-ups in a day. Now we're just going with your example.
Yeah.
So we're going to take this challenge for the next 30 days.
Right.
Right. Now you have some inspiration to go
Yep.
forward
Yep.
and compound on that thought until it becomes something of substance that really, again, by the end of the 30 days, where are you from where you started at zero, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And you
yeah,
always
thank you
keep
for that.
on going too after 30 days too if you want.
Of course, and that's the whole point of it, right? Is that we're building on something,
Yeah.
right?
It's just like any
Once you
goal, right?
start, you continue the momentum.
Yeah.
So that may be, you know what? That may be the discussion for next week. We'll see.
Perhaps.
We'll talk about that. But that may be
Okay.
the discussion for next week because look, we're trying to spark something here today. We're trying to get your interest on a topic of interest to you.
Yeah. You leave a
And then-
comment and let us know. You have some interest, right?
Yeah, what are your interests out there? Let us know. Thank you, Curtis.
For sure.
Let us know what interest because we can be helping you.
Absolutely.
That's the path we're on.
Helping
we're
each other. Yep.
We're helping thought leaders to develop their authority, to become somebody in this industry. So let us know. What are your interests? What are your concepts? What is it you're thinking about out there that you don't know how to create it? Right? Let's see if we can help you create it.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you for that. Is there anything you have else to add to today's discussion?
Any analogies to what you said earlier that you maybe easier to understand? Like you said, you need a map. So you think of a GPS type idea, the airplane, the degree thing, and then what was the first one again? The thought of something.
I don't remember.
Because like if the steps that you would have to take for thoughts or things, right?
So you have the original spark, the concept,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And then compound on that thought. So visualization.
Yep.
Right? Start writing your thoughts down.
That's important.
Every time
for
you have a
sure.
new
Yep.
thought, write it down.
Yep. You can review it
Until-
later. Yep.
Yeah, and review it. Constantly review it until it becomes common knowledge in your mind, in your senses. Like you said, when you were when you were looking for your wife,
Right.
you didn't need that list anymore.
No.
You knew what you were looking for.
That's right.
Just like if you're going to build something, if you're constantly writing it down and reviewing it, eventually you're gonna know what you're building. It's gonna
Well,
be
it's like,
written up here.
speaking of
The
building,
whole plan
yeah.
is gonna be written up here.
Yep. Well, it's like, have you ever built a house before, RJ?
I've done work on a house. I've never
Yeah.
built a house from ground up.
Yeah. Well, I remember first time I tried to build a house, I had no freaking clue, right? So I took a course, I learned how to build houses. And then I was working for somebody, I learned how to build a different way of building houses in school, right? And then eventually you build your own house if you wanted to. I never done that, but I'm just saying, like, it's a skill set that you just build upon, right? So just like if you have a thought of what you want in your life, you want to be a millionaire, how do you start? You just start
Truthfully,
thinking.
where do you
Yeah,
start?
think about it.
You know what?
And
And
you
don't
can
get me wrong.
reverse
And that
engineer
alone, I want to be a millionaire.
Yep.
Can be the spot that is that spark.
Yep.
Right? Because let's compound on this for a second. I want to be a millionaire. That's a fact.
Yep.
So how do I become a millionaire?
You break it down.
What
How
do I
much
do
money
next?
do you need to make a day to become a millionaire?
Well, we can
per year?
analyze the dollars if we want.
Yeah. That's
but
one way. One
because you know
direction.
what? If you, by the way, I recommend this book to anybody, and it's not a product pitch, it's not an affiliate thing. Grant Cardone has the Millionaire Booklet.
Yep.
Get
Yeah,
your
usually
hands
gives
on
away
this
for free,
booklet.
yeah.
It was a little $7 booklet,
Yep.
A small little thing, pocket book you can keep in your pocket.
You get the
But read
ebook
it
for
constantly.
free. If you
And so what
look
he
around
does
for
in
it.
that book is he breaks down the numbers,
Yep.
the possible ways to get $1 million.
Mathematically, yep. It's not, once you break it down, it doesn't
And so
seem
if you have
as
a product,
big,
let's
right?
say you had a product or something that was valued at $50,000.
Yep.
How many people do you need to buy that product to make $1 million?
Divided, well, what, 50,000, 100,000 times that by 10. So 20?
Yep.
20 people?
$50,000. If you
Yeah.
have a product worth 50, now I don't know what that might be, but that's just a number. So you have
Just
a
a number.
product worth $50,000.
Yep.
You only need 20 people to buy that product to earn $1 million.
Cool.
Let's say you have a product worth $5,000. How many people do you need to buy that product?
5,000. It'd be, so 50, that's 5. I think it's like, is it 80?
200. It's
200.
the
Oh,
same numbers, right? We just
Yeah.
broken them down smaller.
yeah, I tried.
So from 50,000 to 5,000, we went from 20 people buying your product to 200 people buying your product.
It's hard.
Okay.
That's hard.
Is that really difficult? I mean, let's say you're a coach and you have a $5,000 product, which there are many coaches out there with $5,000 to $7,000 product is the average.
Well, if you have a good community and a good tribe of people, then it's not that
Could
much
you
of a
sell
problem.
200 products?
It's hard if you don't have a good tribe or people that know you.
But it is possible.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible.
So let's say we have a $500 product. You know, we put together a mastermind, a
4,
retreat.
8.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have a
800
$500 product.
then? Is it
All
800
that
then?
takes is 2,000 people.
2,000. Only, yeah.
Hey, but you know what? Okay, so maybe it's not one, maybe it's 2 events
Yeah.
that we have to invite 1,000 people to, right?
Double it usually, yeah.
It's possible. So
Yep.
by breaking these numbers into smaller segments, $1 million is not so far away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I always like the elephant. How do you eat an
Right. So by
elephant?
considering it and by believing it's possible, there's another thing that is part of that process is
Belief.
belief.
Belief in
Look, how many
yourself.
times did
Yeah.
I want to quit, right? I needed a cheerleader behind me like yourself
Yeah.
who can keep me motivated, keep me moving. So belief that you can do it is a big part of this process.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. A lot of people fall off their path because they don't have someone helping them or they don't believe in the other person, right?
Even great coaches, like there's so many coaches out there, people who want to become coaches, and you see them, you begin to see what they're doing, and then they disappear.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't hear from them anymore.
Yeah,
It's a
usually
year, 2 years.
something's happened. Yeah.
Yeah, year 2, you look back and you try to find this person or any of their content
Disappeared.
and nothing. You know, just like crickets all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
So people want into
Witness
this
protection
industry.
plan.
Possibly, man, possibly. They ratted somebody out and now they need to be hidden away. But my point is, like, we need to start.
Yep,
and where
absolutely.
does it start? With that thought, with that idea, with that spark of creation. Once that happens, you can build upon that.
Yep.
And $1
let it
million
grow.
is not
Yep.
so far away. So if I wanted to be a millionaire, what can I do to earn that 500 people at $2,000? You know what I mean? Or
do
whatever. it
private
is.
coaching, group coaching, one-on-one coaching. What's the other one? What was the other thing?
But that's as a coach. That's as a
Yep.
thought leader, right? But there are many people out there who want to create
inner
something.
circle. Inner circle is the other one. That's right.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
There are many people who want to create things besides coaching, besides
Yes.
being an author. Well, 85% of people, they say, want to write a book.
Okay.
So there's a way to start getting your authority, to start. But there are other ways besides being a thought leader.
Yep.
Right. You can build a product. You can create a prototype of something
Do like a
and sell it to
affiliate.
people.
Yep.
You can invest in real estate. There are ways to build on something. So it may not be thought leader, but that's where we fit in.
Yes.
Right. If you're a
That's where
coach,
John-
an author, speaker, entrepreneur who has an idea, has a
for you.
concept, and wants to create something from that concept, we want to work with you. We
Awesome.
want to help bring that out of you. If you have a thought, we can help build upon that thought.
Sweet.
If you don't even have the thought, but you know there's something more out there that you want to accomplish,
Do you have a burning desire?
let's find that thought. Let's find that spark. So we want to work with you. So Curtis, how can people get in touch with us, work with us? How can we help them become a beacon of leadership?
Well, you can always go to our website, www.beaconofleadership.com. Email us at contact@beaconofleadership.com. And if you're on YouTube, please smash that subscribe button and like and ring the bell for us. So
Don't forget to
notify you
thumbs up.
next time we go live.
Absolutely. So do you have anything to add to today's episode?
I think that's it, RJ. We went through a little bit of like a teaching moment here with myself and you, and how thoughts are things. I think we went really well. It was a great, like a little way to hopefully people understand it more clearly for themselves, and they can apply it in their lives. That'd be great. Leave a comment for sure about
Absolutely.
what you thought.
Thank you. Leave a comment on what is that spark? What is that idea that you have that you don't need to compound on? Or is there a dream that you have that you're unable to fulfill? You don't know where to start. Leave a comment. We'd like to hear about that because we could probably help. So that's our show for this week. Been valuable. And we had a little bit of a teaching lesson. That's where I want this show to go. I would like other people to join us. So if you want to come out on our next episode, please reach out to us. PM,
email
either
us,
me, either me or Curtis, or email us contact@beaconofleadership.com, because we want this to become an interactive session. We don't want myself, who does most of the talking. I mean, I'm comfortable with that.
That's who you are, though.
But some other people don't like just one person talking, right? So there's why you and I are interactive. But at the same time, I would like for it to be other thought leaders, some other voices besides you and I. So if you have an idea or a concept that you want to get out there, you want to share with people out there who are thought leaders trying to build their process, come out and join us, especially if the topic that we choose this week is of interest to you.
Absolutely, guys. Come on out, check it out.
So that's our show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
I'm RJ Horner, along with
Curtis Leong.
And we are your beacon of leadership. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.